What's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped, back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, it is the end of the month, moving into August for 2025, and in today's video, we have the end of month SUGO Fest tier list. So in today's video, we're taking all of the legends of the game, putting them on tier lists for you guys to help you guys level up your characters, find out which one's the best value for your account, and which ones you want to prioritize when it comes to stuff like tomes, tablets, all of that fun stuff. If you are a mid-level player moving, or new player moving into the end game. Today's tier list takes every single piece of content into consideration. We live in a world in OPTC of a boosted meta. If you're a mid-game to end-game player, you know what I mean by that. If you're a new player coming into sort of the roll-on from the 11th anniversary, basically what that means is that most of the time when content comes around, you want to use the boosted characters to get either more drops, more rewards, clear it faster, all that fun stuff. But there are some very good characters that sort of fit the mold for other areas that either aren't boosted, or when you're going into a month like this one, where Garp and Garling are the two new legends and lots of people aren't summoning, you have other characters that can kind of fill the holes for you to help clear the content. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video. If you do, build a like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys agree or disagree. Look, this is all subjective for me playing the game for a very long time. This is my personal opinion. You might have a different opinion. Let me know in the comment section below. But if you agree, let me know down there too. While I got your attention, let me know what your favorite legend is down below as well. So the way I like to rank characters is usability is the big one. Like, how often am I using the character? How frequently am I going to the character to say, yep, that's my guy, that can clear content, or that's just like a perfect unit for said area. And characters like Ace, Zoro Sanji, like, you guys know the gist. Like, since the 10th anniversary, like, Ace has just kept getting stronger and stronger because he just fits the bill across the board for so much content. So that's kind of like the big one. And then obviously strength, power, speed, usability in like not only regular content but also PvP. We have OPTC Run coming up too. Like, I don't know if that like space rank characters, but the game modes we have Treasure Map, PKA, Kazuna, PvP, and co-op. Like they're sort of the big five. But look, I'm gonna jump into the video. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you do, build a like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. With that said, so our tier list for what is it? July 2025. Alright, so this is the tier list from last month. Before we dive into the 5 new characters, I always like to do a little bit of chopping and changing, dropping characters, raising characters, depending on what's happened in the last month. So, straight away, looking at this God tier ranking, I'm going to drop a few characters here. I'm going to bring Blackbeard down. I'm going to bring Roger Red the Gaban down to meta. They're still very, very good characters, but they haven't really seen that much use within the current format of the game. That doesn't mean that they're bad. They're still meta-based characters because other characters are still really good around them, like powerhouse units, driven units, and stuff like that keep Blackbeard alive. But in saying that, like, they've definitely dropped off a lot. As for the Utus, I'm going to bring the Utus down to S tier captain. I realistically only ever run Uta in Treasure Map now. I don't really think there's a world where you're using her for Super Boss. You're not really, like, you can definitely run her for 10-star Kazuna. That's probably a place where she really shines, but like some of these other characters definitely shine there too. So I think she fits the mold a little bit better for that. I'm going to bring Brooke down to S tier captain. We haven't seen Silence all that much, and when we have seen Silence, Brooke hasn't really shone in that spot. Same with like Halloween Uta. She's another character that works really, really well. But the upside to Brooke is obviously he's a Straw Hat and he's a free spirit slasher. So Brooke's just way better than Halloween Uta in my eyes. Caulifla's really good, but shooters and fighters just haven't taken off. So I'm going to bring her down to SC Sailor. Even in Super Boss, nowadays, like with the increase to the damage cap, we might see a little bit more of a resurgence from something like Caulifla, but yeah, she's a really good damage dealer for a one-turn burst, but other than that, she doesn't hold that much value. Ginny is just so bad that I'm going to bring her down like here somewhere. Like, I think Ginny is just so ass. Like, I tried using her, I tried making a showcase, and I hated it so much that I just never released the video. Never like put effort into the video. Same with Mr. 3. I think Mr. 3 is just such a bad character. Even with Cross Guild, like, the character is bad. It's just absolutely wild. Just to see that we're getting this caliber of legend in 2025 this late in the game. Especially when you're like Dante, Leo, who are just absolutely fantastic. I think we could probably see a world where Ace Yamato drop down, but Grand Voyage is still like a pretty prominent force in the game, and this particular character is going to help you guys clear so much of that. So I feel like keeping them in meta is definitely a viable option. Not that we need to like harp on about Grand Voyage, but because at the end of the day, like, you want to level up certain characters for that certain event. But like Hiyori, Ace Sabo, Ace Yamato, like, they pop up in so many Grand Voyages that they have to sort of hold their own in meta. Shiroshi Mancherry V1, again, showed how valuable she was in the last 10-star Kazuna. Toki, obviously, just absolutely incredible for Treasure Map and Bypass and Public Silence. She's just a much better option than Brooke that I've just found to work in the future, in the past. Saturn, look, Saturn's still really good. I only leave him in the back end of God tier, but that's just because he just doesn't have the support. But we are starting to see it, so I can see Saturn's potential starting to rise a little bit more and a little bit more. Shang's still great. He was fantastic in Super Boss. Kaido's probably seen his time. I'm going to drop him down to S tier captain because I think if you're running a Blackbeard, a Powerhouse team, you are running these two as captains, but like Powerhouse just hasn't had the support. Versus Lord definitely has seen a resurgence thanks to the striker support. I'm going to bring Lucci Kaku down to S tier captain as well. I think like they're a fantastic captain with the conditional buff they give, but I haven't really seen a spot for them in too much. They were great in the latest Grand Voyage, though. That was a pretty nice spot for them. Roger and Odin, they can come down to AT captain. I tried using Roger and Odin lately, and like, bruh, like the only thing that's keeping them alive is slashes. Same with K-Dad. The only thing that's really going for them is their final tap, but that's something that we just haven't used in Yonks and Yonks and Yonks. As for some of these S tier sailors, I have used Odin Kinmon Dendro recently. I've used like a lot of these characters hold so much value just because like sailor potential is just ridiculous. Buggy can definitely come down. I tried using Buggy. Buggy's so bad, dude. Like he's an okay captain, but the fact that he turns everyone like his orb into everyone's orb, it's just very, very frustrating. Kuma's not terrible, but he's just not fantastic. I like him more as a sailor because he has the ability to remove blowaway, but I just wish as a captain he got rid of blowaway too. Like if he had captain blowaway in his captain, it just make him so much better. Like so much better. It's not even funny. Straw Hat Crew V2, honestly we have way too many Straw Hats in the game now. They have to come down to need love. Like these guys need a super evolution, which is crazy. Like crazy stuff. Honestly, I just put them in like bad for now, I guess, because like I said, like yeah, we need them to get a super evolution. It's absolutely wild. Corazon and Rayleigh, like I feel like Rayleigh nowadays is either more of a support or he's a Grand Voyage must. You used to run him in like Rev 2 and stuff like that, and like he still has really good value as a sailor, but I don't really think I've ever used him besides in Grand Voyage content as of late. What else we got here? What else can we do? Burgess honestly is just like, he's bad for now. I think just that ability to remove the attack down below above a certain chain multiplier is just bad. If it was below a certain chain multiplier, it would be good, but it's not that. So that's so frustrating. Halloween Uta, more of a sailor, can remove the silence, which is great. This Snake Man, he needs love. Like he needs something. I haven't used that Snake Man in like many moons. Honestly, this Kaido, he needs some love too, but like I used him in the latest Super Boss, which is absolutely crazy. I only used him because he was a Mythical Zone Kaido unit, which is hilarious. But yeah, he definitely needs something. As for the rest of these characters, they all seem pretty fine. I can sort of keep them where they are. I feel like something needs to be done with S tier sailors. Luffy Yamato, I actually used them in the latest Super Boss as well. They're still really good. The cooldown's great. Their special's great. Obviously, Luffy Yamato, so like they have so many supports. Kid Killer's fantastic. Shiro Manchu V2. All of these subs are just so great. I mean, I guess we could probably say that you're more of an A tier captain. The Sanji and what's it called? And Usopp Lilith. I think Usopp Lilith. Yeah, we could probably say they're more A tier captains. The way that they give a buff at the start of the quest is great, but like that's pretty much all that they're doing. You're probably more of an A tier captain. The Kaido King have the ability to remove the special limit, which is like they're like the only character in the game that can do that besides obviously Shiroshi Mancherry. But most of the time, like most people are probably using Shiroshi Mancherry. Bonnie, honestly, like Bonnie's not as good as what she seems to be. Basically, she's just a glorified chain booster that gets him roof threshold. Like her final tap's bad. Like we don't really care about her. She is what it is. Odin Kinmon Dendro, probably more of an A tier captain. Their captainship's really good. Their ability to give Super 10 through 1 is good. Their increased damage taken doesn't go through full immunity, which kind of sucks. Plus, Odin Toki is still so fantastic for the resistance down that I would probably run Odin Toki more than I would run Odin Kinemon Denjiro. This Sabo, probably more of an A-tier captain. I believe he can remove Special Bond, but not as a captain. So, yeah, he's more of an A-tier sailor, probably. I would say he's probably more of an A-tier sailor. Sop is starting to fall off, but, like, they're still up there. Jack's definitely more come down towards an A-tier sailor. I don't even know if he fell here. There he is. He's more of an A-tier sailor now just because Driven have fallen off, but he's a striker, so he can work. He's not as good as Queen. Queen's just infinitely better. Cerebral I've seen just a lot of play lately. This Luffy can come down to A-tier captain. He's still great, but like most of the time using him as captain. I think this Sober Mask as well. His potential lies in his jump ability. He's special. Actually, the cooldown he gets in his sailor ability is actually ridiculous. So definitely going to do that. And then Law and Beppo, I'm going to make them an A-tier captain too. I love them as captain in Grand Voyage. I think they're so fantastic, but anywhere else is just kind of whatever. You honestly, you're bad for now. Like that white bit, I tried using him recently. He's whatever. Sure, Hoshi's got a level limit break. I don't know why you're here. You should be there. Send Godku, great in treasure map, but like that's basically it. Shanks Buggy, Kizaru Fuji, like they need some love. Like they need something. Like they need something bad. Shanks and Buggy are more of a Grand Voyage must. Honestly, we'll put them at the back end there. I haven't really ran them in regular content in a very long time, but still a good unit on paper. This Kuzan, honestly, is just bad for now. Like, definitely needs some love. That was the one that came out with Blackbeard. I love that I'm being ruthless here. It just actually feels really, really good. Because normally I'm just like, oh, yeah, you know, but now I'm just like, nah, just get these characters out of here. Green Ball, honestly, Green Ball's got a fantastic support, especially for Kizaru. Like, really, really good support. So I'm going to put him there in support. You won't really see too much play besides maybe wave clearing and treasure map otherwise. Sulongs, honestly, Sulongs are just bad. Like, that ability, like, they give a new buff that if the enemy has damage reduction, they will give the percent of the damage reduction as damage. But to do that, you need a character that's going to bypass, defensive effects. So you have to either run this character or, like, Dragon or Luffy. Like, it's very wonky. Very, very wonky, and I don't like it at all. I loved it on paper. It was really cool, but then they just didn't give us the support that it needed. As for that, like, Jinbei... Jinbei's probably bad for now too. I tried using Jinbei recently and he just didn't work the way I wanted him to. Blackbeard's pretty good. This Boa definitely needs some help. Her abilities on paper are really good, but like other than that, is what it is. Straw Hat Crew. Look, I'm going to keep Straw Hat Crew in A-tier Sailor. That's only because they can remove like 5 turns of any debuff in the game. The problem is they obviously are a Straw Hat character, which is definitely an issue for them. So as for everything else, I think everything else is pretty fine. Maybe we can move the Luffy's down. This Boa can definitely come down. A-tier Sailor. Lilith is definitely more of a Sailor now. Like, you don't really use her double stacking abilities. Just doesn't work all that much. This Shanks as well. Like, this Shanks honestly just needs love. He's good in PvP though, so we'll put him up in PvP mainly. Ben Beckman, Lucky Roo. I don't think I've ever ran that them as captain in a very long time. Same with Koala. The special rest is great, but you like let's be real when you're running Ace. Otama needs love. Or actually, Otama's support is just so fantastic. 3 turns to spare on any big bomb unit is just absolutely crazy. So that's definitely value there. So we'll leave it at that for now. We might make some changes as well to the top 10. So stay tuned to the end of the video for that. But for now, I'm pretty happy with some of these movements. So let's dive into the new characters. Since the last time we did this tier list, we had the waifu batch, I believe. And with that came the level limit break of Sabo and Koala for the Kizuna that had Dragon. So, I believe we had the waifus. I remember seeing them here somewhere. Yeah, so we had these two characters, the Nanami and the Yamato and Otama. Look, they're okay. They're nothing, like, too fantastic. Definitely wouldn't summon for them. If you did pull them, kudos to you. But, like, they're not even really good in PvP. They're just we're a filler banner for some bit of booba after the 11th anniversary. And then we dove straight back into the God Valley incident. But before that, we had a bit of a wonky tip and turn with some characters that came for Treasure Map and Kizuna. So, starting off, we had the Treasure Map Ace, which was just completely left field. Like, ridiculously left field to just go from God Valley incident for the 11th anniversary into the Summer Batch and then into Treasure Map Ace. And I actually done a ramble video I actually haven't released, actually. I need to find a spot, like, place to release that. Probably should have done that over the weekend. I've done a ramble video about the tag system, and I'm not going to get too much into it here, but make sure to check out that video if you guys have gripes with the tag system as well. We went from a batch that was completely revolving around Egghead and the God Valley incident in the Roger Rally Command, and then the Big Mom, Shiki and Whitebeard unit. And then we moved into the waifus that need like Straw Hats and other waifu characters, VVs, all of those waifu units. And then certain tags, I believe Nami needs Straw Hat characters, while Yamato and Otama need Paramecia and Mythical Zoans and Child units, I think it was. And then we moved into Ace that needs Whitebeard pirates. And I was like, why? why are we jumping and chopping? And then we went to Mr. Zero and Mr. Sunday, who need Warlords, Logias, or Paramecia units, which again, like, it's not like super hard to do, but it makes team building really wonky. To get like certain characters on the team to fit the build makes it a little bit hard. But like I said, if you guys want a rant video on the tag system, make sure to check that one out when it comes out. It's just me pulling tickets, and then I'm just sort of rambling on about the rant system. But Ace, overall, like, Ace is a really good character. Ace has ridiculously good synergy with this particular character right here. Now, Ace does need 3 Whitebeard pirates on the team. If you have that, you get 2 turns of Despair and Paralysis removal in his captain ability. And then he also has a very good final tap for striker characters. Again, taking a lot more striker support, where he takes all the damage from strikers at max level, he throws it back at 1 times. Basically exactly the same final tap as this guy here for free spirits, but he has it for strikers. And we've seen how insane this final tap is with the Straw Hat Crew V2. When they first released, they just did it with every character, which was wild. Now we've got it for strikers, we've got it for free spirits. I believe we have it for, like, K-Dad do it for slashes. It's a very, very good final tap. Like, a very, very good final tap. And if you put it on the back end of a very good character, you can see a lot of value in the unit. If you get burned in any piece of content, Ace will turn, no matter how many turns of burn, if it's 99 turns of burn, if it's 1 turn of burn, he'll turn that into a 4-turn attack boost, which after preemptive goes down to 3. So 2.75 times attack boost, and he can increase it 2 times, which is really, really nice. He also has a very good sailor ability where he gets 2 turns of cooldown whenever your captain uses a special. But in his special, if you have 3 Whitebeard pirates or I believe it's Logia or Mythical Zoan, I think is the other one. He will then give himself 13 turns of cooldown with Limerick Expansion. That actually goes down to 15. So that way you can use your special, use your captain special, and then he goes down to 0, where you can use his special again in the same turn. So he gives you an attack boost. He can then increase the attack boost. And then if you've already used your special in the same turn, he gives you a territory for strength characters, which is ridiculously strong. We've seen how strong territories are for colors with these 2 characters here, and how much extra damage output you get when it comes to Super Boss content. So Ace was fantastic in us hitting 2 trillion for the Dex Super Boss. He wasn't essential, and he wasn't exactly like, oh my god, you need to bring Ace. But at the same time, the fact that he has the Whitebeard Pirate tag, he needs Whitebeard Pirates, like Whitebeard, Luffy, I think Roger's in there, Sabo, Marco, I think Blackbeard's in there too. This is like a bunch of Whitebeard pirates that kind of like work with this character too. And then obviously, like, he goes into the EX of the Rocks Pirates, being an Ace unit. So the 2 of them just work hand in hand. And the upside to Ace as well is he gives you an attack boost, where this character gives you an orb boost. And then he gives you a territory for strength. This character gives you a territory for strikers. This character gives you the super strength, super striker, where Ace is a super powerhouse unit. So powerhouse striker that can be used as a sub. He gives you an overrideable orb buff. So then when you use this particular unit, you're getting attack boost, double territories, orb boost, set target, final tap, Super Tandem increase, and then obviously you want to use this guy Super Tandem, and you just do some very, very fun stuff. So Ace is definitely a god tier unit, but at the moment, he's more of a god tier unit because of how powerful this character here is, and strikers and their support. So, and then Roger Rally too. The synergy of like these 3 characters together, it's just already like a very good core striker build. I don't think he's god tier by any means. He's definitely not as good as like this unit here when it comes to sort of like setting a territory. But at the same time, he is definitely a staple on striker teams. So if you pull him, he's going to be very, very good. On top of that, he's a very good wave clearer in Treasure Map 2. So you're going to be able to pop his special on turn 2, and he's going to give you a 3-turn attack boost, which you can easily carry into the next stage. With the amount of intimidation we've seen in the game now too, having 2 turns or above buffs is very, very viable. And with Super Boss and the shitty damage cap, hitting 2 trillion over 2 turns has been the play for a little while now. Obviously, they're increasing that, so you want to try and hit maybe like 2.8 trillion moving forward, maybe a little bit higher with your investments, depending on how that update looks. But Ace is just, again, he's going to be a staple on big damage teams. He's going to be great in Treasure Map. He's got a very interesting captain ability that can give you a little bit of utility with Despair and Paralysis, but the fact that he can just remove Burn completely is great. His special also removes Bind and Burn as well, so if you're using him as a sub, which most of the time he will be, you're just going to see some really good value there. But again, I can just see like a lot of value in Treasure Map for this unit as well. I was very happy I pulled him on a discount. I was very, very happy indeed. And again, the synergy that these two have together, just... they're going to be like the forefront of strength teams moving forward. And hell, you can even just run this guy as a friend captain and just like run this combination. Like it's going to go absolutely wazoo. Like absolutely wazoo indeed. So that's Ace in a nutshell. Very, very powerful unit. I would definitely look at picking him up on the next Treasure Map banner. Say you get like a really good Treasure Map legend and he's on the banner. It's definitely one to look at. As for Mr. Zero and Crocodile, I want to start by talking about their PvP abilities. Ace in PvP is actually pretty good too. I didn't touch on that. He's great on strength teams. He's great on striker teams. But the problem with Ace is that you need 3 Whitebeard Pirates on the team. And we just don't have the support for Whitebeard Pirates. The fact that he goes on a striker team with this character, and it's got Whitebeard in the name, means that you can't run other Whitebeards, like the free-to-play Whitebeard. And then you lose like a prominent Whitebeard unit on the team. But seeing as this guy's on a Whitebeard Pirate. So Ace is good, just not like meta for strength or meta for striker. As for Mr. Zero and Missile Sunday, definitely a meta PvP unit for striker characters and cerebral teams. I actually tried them on the cerebral build just because I wanted to do like a whole bunch of stuff with rollback. This unit against Free Spirit Slashers dominates the meta. Like you come up against a heavy slasher team, a heavy Free Spirit team. It doesn't have to be like a set in stone Free Spirit team or set in stone slasher team. Like for example, Int have Roger Ellie Gaban, S-Hawk. Sometimes you see Verse Shanks there. We have Garling now, who are all slasher characters. Then you have the Free Spirit characters that are sort of littered in, like Ace on the Dex team. You have the actual bespoke Free Spirit team, which is disgusting in defense. Well, now with Mr. Zero and Missile Sunday, their special rolls their enemy special back by 40%, which is absolutely dumb. They do a bunch of damage. They have a passive that also nerfs Free Spirit and slashers by reducing their cooldown limit. They're just very, very good. And they're definitely going to see a lot of play in PvP moving forward. And if you see them on a defensive team, just be very careful. If you have a bunch of slashers or Free Spirit characters, you're going to be in for a rough time. But as for the character themselves, they have the Captain Shift mechanic. So the Captain Shift mechanic is very, very good. But it's one that it's a bit hit or miss in my eyes. It can either be disgustingly strong, or it can just be kind of there and just on the unit for no reason. With Mr. Zero and Missile Sunday, the thing I like about the Captain Shift of this character is they give a bunch of resistance for cerebrals and strikers, and then their swap gives resistance for strength and dex, which is great. But having them as a captain, they have a particular ability where if you use a special with any Warlord character, they apply increased damage taken that goes through full immunity. Now, the problem with this unit is that there aren't a lot of striker and cerebral characters, namely striker when we're trying to use them for super boss. There are not a lot of striker characters that are Warlords of the Sea or Mr. 1, Mr. 2, or Mr. 3. I think are also in that sort of part of their kit. So there's not a lot of characters that can do that. So on cerebral, like you've got Doflamingos, you've got Mihawks that can work, but again with the striker team, you actually don't. So it's a bit of a problem to the character. They are like thriving because striker is so good, but that ability to give increased damage taken just on top of whatever the other character's doing. Say for example, like this character's already doing increased damage taken, so it's a bad example. But say for example, Mihawk wasn't doing increased damage taken, he was an attack booster, he would then apply increased damage taken as well. And the fact about this particular character too is that they actually give the weakness buff, which means that you can stack the weakness with the increased damage taken, which does a lot for your team. So it's a very nice ability, but it isn't one that I've seen too effective right now. But at the same time, the fact that you can use this character as a sub, captain shift them in, use that other character's special as a captain, and then captain shift them out with their EX and stuff like that, just works really, really nice. On top of that, you can use it with lore. Like you can captain shift in with this character here, and this is what I was doing in Super Boss. Captain shift in here, and then use the lore verse ability to swap them out of captain, and then you can use the lore special to swap that other character that's in the middle right up to the captain slot. And that's what I was doing with this unit right here. So you can do some fun stuff in that regard. And it does work out quite nicely. But right now, again, this character is a product of the tag system. And this one definitely gets hit a lot harder than Ace, because they don't have like a best buddy like the Whitebeard Rocks unit. So Bit of a weird one. You do need certain characters to activate the EX as well, which can be a bit of a problem. I believe they need 2 characters of the Baroque Works units, and then literally all of the Warlords of the Sea. Bit of a problem in that regard, but at the same time, getting all of their abilities to work, they do have Logia and Paramecia in their kit, so they can work that way. They're a chain boundary unit. They're also an orb boosting character as well, if you already have a chain boost. The upside to the character too is that they can extend color affinity and orb boosting specials by 1 turn as a captain. So again, if you captain shift in and you're coming up against intimidation, which we were in the super boss, you captain shift in with this particular character, use this special to extend the orb boost to a 3-turn orb boost. The intimidation would take it down to 2 turns, and then you could just 2-turn burst and do 2 trillion damage. So that was a big upside to the unit as well, and a big reason why I think they're definitely within the meta. Because again, strikers are so powerful right now, and they're just getting buff after buff after buff. I think we're moving away from them a little bit, but at the same time, it was nice to see them work so well in the Super Boss content. Anyway, so that's Mr. Zero Missile Sunday. For the Super Boss 2, we actually got Mihawk and Perona. Mihawk and Perona, like, they are just a fantastic character on Grand Voyage. If you go into the local sea monster now and you have the Super Evolution of Cat Viper and Dogstorm, the Super Evolution of Shanks and his crew, you now have the Super Evolution of Mihawk and Perona. Ironically, you don't want to use the Super Evolution of Rayleigh. Actually, you probably could use the Super Evolution of Rayleigh, but the thing is you lose the Opera support, so you have to find a few more Despair removing supports, which definitely can be doable, but like, it's funny that first team, that with Viola as well, and the Shanks crew, now literally has all 6 pluses, and it's just going to steamroll the content. So if you have this unit Super Evolved and you're still struggling in that content for whatever reason, you shouldn't be, because like that content's like a cakewalk now, but they are still like an absolute demon in Grand Voyage. As for their level limit break, they got Special Mind added to their kit, very much like this character did, where if you swap with them, it removes the Special Mind, they use their special, and it is going to remove 6 turns of Special Mind. But they also added their conditional is against increased damage taken as well. So they do a conditional buff against increased damage taken and the weakness ability. Now they apply that, no, it's not the weakness ability, it's called the negative ability. They apply said negative ability, which is great with their swap, but it doesn't actually bypass full immunity unless there is 2 or more enemies. If there's 2 or more enemies, it will bypass full immunity. The negative effect is ridiculously strong. It allows you to do 20% more damage. You take 20% less damage, and then obviously with their special, they can give you a conditional buff for that. I believe it's a 2.5 times conditional buff as well, which is ridiculously strong. And when you partner that with the new Mr. Zero and Missile Sunday, it works incredibly well because, again, the Mihawk and Perona are a Warlord of the Sea tag character, so that way you're actually getting the increased damage taken, the weakness, the negative effect, and doing a lot of big booty damage there as well. So they do a 20% HP cut. If you have 3 or more Thriller Bark, Marine Ford, or 7 Warlords on the crew, you get the damage reduction from certain slot effects as well with their level limit break. So it's a 3.25 conditional buff. Sorry, I apologies for that. Like, I completely glossed over that. That's absolutely wild. Plus, they also, like I said, they remove Special Bind and they also rotate Block Obs. They're a fantastic Super Evolution and level limit break. The ability to remove the damage reduction from certain slots for 6 turns is incredibly strong. Obviously, having Thriller Bar characters is going to be tricky. Like, there's not a lot of good ones. Warlords of the Sea, I think you could definitely do, but again, most of the Warlords of the Sea that are decent is like Crocodiles, Mihawks, which you're not going to be able to have access to. Like, there's a couple of Laws, I guess, maybe a Jinbei or 2, and then you got the Marine Ford Paramount War, which would have like a lot of ace characters on it and stuff like that. But again, you have to sort of find a way to put like cerebral slashers and cerebral driven characters. You need to find a way to put them all together. So the tag system for them is it's going to be a little bit problematic. But again, having that cerebral team with like Doflamingos, for example, with this unit is where you're going to see a lot of the value from this character. But again, where do they go? Again, a product of the tag system being not fulfilled right now, but at the same time, they're not exactly struggling for what you need from them. Remember as well, like, you don't need the negative effect at 3.25. You get it at 3 times without the tags anyway, so like, that's really good. And then the fact that they do it against increased damage taken means that when you're using them under the Crocodile and Robin unit as a captain, you are going to do some pretty fun stuff there. But moving on to the 2 new legends, I'm going to try and wrap this up because like I have been rambling for a little while and I do want to do some stuff on the top 10. But as of the 2 new legends, we have Garp and Garling. And these characters, honestly, they came out of nowhere in the sense of like, holy shit, these characters are good. We have One Piece Day coming in like 5 days, 4 days from me recording this particular video. But at the same time, we have seen that it's probably not going to be a Super Sugo Fest, so that throws a bit of a spanner in the works too. First of all, we have Garp. Garp is just insane. Garp is ridiculously good. Has incredible synergy with these 2 characters right here. This, like, holy... Hang on, if I quickly put you here. This holy trio is just wild in what you can do. You have attack buffs, orb buffs, chain boundary, double special activations. Like, it gets absolutely bonkers with the amount of damage output and the things you can do with Garp, Ace, and Kizaru. Depending on if you have Garp as a captain and you have a 5 Navy Vice Admirals, or Egghead units, you get 10 turns of bind removal, and you have the ability to further increase attack slot and type effect boosts by 0.2, which is just built into his captain ability. So if you do like a 3 times attack boost, it becomes a 3.2, which you can then still increase as well. If you use any type effect boost, you extend it by 1 turn, and he boosts Dex into fighter characters by 1.25. So he's a Dex fighter shooter, which again makes it very interesting with Kizaru and Ace being shooter-centric, but he only buffs fighter characters. Like, he's not buffing shooters as well, but he's still buffing Dex and Int. So they threw Int in there because obviously Garling as well. He makes Dex and Tandem Orbs matching, and with his special, he reduces threshold. If you have an attack boost, he's a type effect boost. Otherwise, he becomes an attack boost. And if you have a attack boost already, he increases it by 1.3 times. Otherwise, he's a 3.5 times attack boost, which can be increased twice. And then he further increases the type effect boost by 1.3 times, maxing at 6. So if you have a type effect boost, he becomes an attack boost and he increases the type effect. But if you have a type effect boost, he becomes an attack boost and increases that type effect. It's just incredibly strong. If you have 5 Navy Admirals or Navy units or Egghead units, he gives you a heal for 10 turns. He reaches his own cooldown by 9 turns. And this only happens 1 time. But the fact that he's on a 15-turn cooldown with Limit Break Expansion means that if you use Kizaru with him and you put him in the middle slot, you can actually get the 6 turns of cooldown ready to go, and then pop his special once again. So he becomes an attack booster and a color affinity booster. It removes a whole bunch of thresholds. It just works great. His super class can be used as a sub too. You do need a 6 times attack or orb boost, which is a little bit problematic. It's going to be a little bit tricky to get, but I do think it is doable. You might have to throw in something like 10th Anniversary Luffy into the mix to get this done, but it's definitely doable, where he turns Dex into... changes fighters into super fighters, and then makes Super Tandem work with Dex orbs, which is fantastic. Also increasing type effects by 0.5. But the fact that you can do a Super Tandem with Dex orbs is incredible, because Ace gives you a full board of Dex orbs. And it's always been a problem for Ace, where you use the Ace special and you have like the team ready to go, and you're like, holy fuck, where are my Tandem orbs? You always want to use Ace's special after the character that gives you Tandem orbs, namely this unit right here. And that way you're just in a sticky situation where you've gone, alright, shit, I wanted to use Ace after that, override the orb buff from Zoro Sanji, and then I just lost the Tandem orb. So Garp sort of, he fixes that problem, which is very, very good. He does have a Super Tandem ability as well. It needs to get the final battle and 2 of the following characters on the crew. You have Luffy, Ace, Sengoku, Goldie, Roger, and then a whole bunch of like admirals and Navy characters, Sakazuki's. You guys get the gist. 2.25 times attack boost to Dex fighters and shooters, and changes the attack multiplier of Dex to 2.25, which is pretty strong. But again, he's just a regular legend, so one that you kind of want him to come to you. But at the same time, like, he's such a fantastic character. I do understand why people are summoning for him, and why people want the particular unit. I haven't seen too much of him in PvP. The deck seems it's in a bit of a weird and wonky state right now, but it's definitely one that is improving, and it's definitely a character that I would look out for your regular teams when it comes to like taking down the game. When we get a super boss and running this trio, it's going to be really, really nice, and I'm actually really, really excited for that too. So that's going to be a little bit of fun. As for the other character that came alongside him, we got Garling. Now, Garling at the moment is kind of just here. And when you compare what Garling's doing to what Garp is doing, it's a bit chalk and cheese, to be honest, because Garp has the support already. Garling and Saturn, I'm going to put him right next to his buddy Saturn here. Garling and Saturn don't exactly have the support that they need right now. Where Garp, like I said, Garp has these 3 units that are just ready to go. Hell, you even have Dex Roger there, who's going to work well with these units too. So, Garling is sort of that next step for the Celestial Dragons to sort of keep rising. He's obviously a 99 cost unit. He specials on a 23 turn cooldown, which is really, really high, as most of these Celestial Dragons have. But he boosts Int, Dex, Slasher, and Driven characters by 5.25, approximately 6 times when you have an Int recovery of Tandem Orbs. He boosts his own attack by 6 times, and he makes Int recovery tandem matching. If the character has a critical attack potential ability, performs a critical attack, applies minus 6% resistance to all enemies for 1 turn. And then if you have 5 Elders, Celestial Dragons, or Navy characters on the crew, they get an extra 1.1 times attack. So 5.25 goes to 5.7 something like that. I think if I've got it here, actually, I can just do this. So you got 5.25 times 1.1, and then reduces the 5 Elder Celestial Dragon and Egghead characters cooldown by 4 turns at the start of the quest, which is actually really good as well, because it obviously not only works for him, but it works for a lot of other characters as well. 5.75 for, say, if you have Saturn on the team, or you Saturn as a friend captain, something like that, he's going to give a nice extra buff to those Navy, Celestial Dragon, and 5 Elder characters. He also removes 10 turns of paralysis and special bind for the 5 Elder Dragons, 5 Elders and Celestial Dragon characters. So this is always going to work on himself, but if you bring other characters like Saturn, for example, you can just remove the paralysis and remove the special bind on them too. If you have 5 or more Elders or Celestial Dragon or Egghead characters on the crew, increase slot effects boost by 0.5, which is stackable as well, just like Garb. So he can then increase orb effect boost. So as a captain, like, for the Celestial Dragons, I think he's pretty viable. But at the same time, I think we're just going to get more Super Sugos and very powerful Egghead Celestial Dragon characters in the future. And Garling, like I said, is the product and the start of that. His captain ability, like I said, he's just going to give some nice buffs. And the fact he can remove Special Bind himself means that with his special, he can remove Special Bind too. But if your total cost of the crew is, including friend captains and support, is 750 or more, specials that are applied to certain types and class effects will be on the whole crew, and further increase slot effect boosts that are launched by the crew by 0.25. So if you can then increase your cost up to 750, which, like I said, we're on the way to, because obviously Saturn wants a very, very high cost as well. And once we get more Celestial Dragons, if you're running 6 Celestial Dragons on the team, automatically you have like 700, like 600, what is it, 600 cost. So then you just throw on like 2 or 3 legend supports. Wham bam, thank you, man. You're already at the 750 cost limit. So it's going to be very, very easy to hit that once we get that support rolling out. But for now, he does 2 million damage to one enemy that ignores defensive effects and normal attacks only. Reduces special bind by 10 turns and boosts Int, Dex, slot effects by 3.75 for 1 turn. If 3 or more Celestial Dragons, 5 Elders or Navy are on the crew, or 5 Egghead characters, then allows slot effect boost to be increased 2 times. And Int and Dex characters get an extra 40% to their critical hit buff. So if they have like a 60% chance to land a crit, it will turn into a 100% chance to crit. Whenever the crew has a critical hit rate boost, you get the final tap Sugo, which obviously activates with his special. It also works with Shanks as a captain. Remember, you are buffing slashes, so you could run like this combination here, but I feel like we're probably going to get another doozy in a particular Shanks character. I'm not going to give spoilers, but it's a Shanks that's not a Shanks, let's just say that. But his final taps are like 2,000 base stats and then turns into a 2.5 times multiplier, which is basically just for himself. So like if you already have that buff, it just cancels it out. So it's just kind of whatever. But in Rumble, he's fantastic. He works great on the in-team, works fantastic on the driven team. But overall, I do think Garling is a very good character. But just like Saturn, he is missing the support. And Garp has the support right now. That's why Garp is automatically in God tier. But like I said, I'm not going to pretend like these characters are bad just because they don't have the support that they need right now. You could easily argue to me that they would go at the back end of meta. Something like that would probably be a little bit more viable because their meta hasn't come around yet. But at the same time, like, again, they are still just a fantastic character. Before we wrap up the video, though, I do want to do something real quick. I do want to bring, like, you up here. Like, I think you can come down now. I think Kizaru is just disgusting. Like, running him on shooters and slashers is easy peasy. But now that we have this kind of support, where you're running, like, say, for this latest pick A, I'm using the Kizaru captain, friend captain Garp, and then running Ace. All you need to do now is add one Navy character to the team, and you have just a Rainbow captain, which is wild. So the Garp support has shot Kizaru up tenfold for me. I I don't think he's on par with these two characters here. But at the same time, like, he definitely has risen, like, so far up the ranks. Probably like this, actually. I still think Int Luffy does get a little bit of an edge there. Shanks, for me, starting to fall off a bit. I have been using Shanks a lot, but, like, I do think that, like, these 4 characters here, like, I use religiously. Like, it's absolutely wild how much I use these characters. You could probably make an argument to me and do something like this. Just because, like, these characters have a lot of clash. But the Nami is just so fantastic. The Rocks Pirates is great, and this is how I feel like the tier list needs to fall moving out of July. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. While you're down there, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Remember, let me know what your favorite legend is down below, and let me know if you have anything to add for the tier list. But most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.